is good with it, YouTube? It's your boy David Lewis from the Best Take Podcast, and today we are going to be talking about why Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is one of the most disrespected NBA legends of all time, and then we're also going to be explaining why he shouldn't get disrespected at all. Before we get deep into this video, I would like you guys to like, comment, and subscribe. I would also gladly appreciate it if you guys would follow me on Instagram and on TikTok, and also have the post notification bell on. That way you'll be notified whenever your boy drops a new video. Alright, let's get straight into it. Now I'm going to start by reading off Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's resume. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a 6-time NBA champion, a 6-time MVP, a 2-time Finals MVP, a 19-time All-Star. He was on an All-NBA team 15 times. 10 out of those 15 were first-team All-NBA, and the last 5 of them were second-team. He was on a defensive team 11 times. He also is a 2-time scoring champion, a 4-time blocks champion, and also led the league in rebounding in 1976, and also won Rookie of the Year in 1970. Now, after reading a resume like that, the question is now, why is Kareem disrespected? And the simple question is because most people believe that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at his peak dominated a weak version of the NBA. They also believe that most of the players from the 1970s or before just dominated a whole bunch of people that they consider just AKA plumbers. And even though I personally believe the 1970s are probably or is probably the worst era of NBA basketball, it's not because I believe the players in that era were plumbers or were trash or they couldn't play basketball. It's simply just because the NBA at the time was at its baby stage. So the NBA had to have a starting point, just like any other thing in world history. It had to have a starting point. If there is no starting point with anything, you won't see evolution because you never started anything. Now with that being said, let's talk about the impact of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The year before Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was drafted to the Milwaukee Bucks, they had only won 27 games and had missed the playoffs. The very next year, in 1970, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's rookie season, he had led the Milwaukee Bucks to a 56-26 record, while dominantly averaging 28 points a game, 14 rebounds, and 4 assists on 51% shooting. He dominantly won Rookie of the Year, was All NBA second team, All Defensive second team, and finished third in the MVP race as a rookie. Unfortunately, his rookie season would come to an end by the hands of the New York Knicks, who beat the Milwaukee Bucks in the East Division Finals. But nevertheless, it was a historic rookie season, especially when you take into account that this man Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, in his first career playoff run, this man averaged 35 points and 16 rebounds and 4 assists on a ridiculous 56% shooting as a rookie. Like, just imagine next season Cooper Flagg does what Kareem did way back in 1970. Bro, that would break the freaking internet. Now let's jump to the next year in 1971, where Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would lead the Milwaukee Bucks to their first ever NBA franchise championship. Not only would Kareem Abdul-Jabbar do that, he would also collect his first of many regular season MVPs in 1971. In this season, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar averaged 31 points a game, 16 rebounds, and 3 assists on a ridiculous 57% shooting, and led the Bucks to a 66-16 record. And don't get me wrong, I am not saying Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did all this by himself in 1971, because in 1971 the Milwaukee Bucks did pick up Oscar Robertson, but Oscar Robertson was not peak Oscar Robertson, as most of Oscar Robertson's prime was on the Cincinnati Royals, who are now known as the Sacramento Kings. When Kareem Abdul-Jabbar got Oscar Robertson on his team, Oscar Robertson literally had played his last 4 years in the NBA and clearly wasn't the same player that he was at his peak. And then Kareem in the 1971 playoffs, averaging 26, 17, and 2 on 51% shooting, and he takes it up a notch in the 1971 NBA Finals. In the 71 NBA Finals, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar averaged 27 points a game, 18 rebounds, and 2 assists on a ridiculous 60% shooting to win his first championship and to win the Milwaukee Bucks their first ever franchise championship. Now, from 1972 to 1974, Kareem would go on to win 2 more regular season MVPs, averaging 30 points, 15 rebounds, and 4 assists, 1.4 steals a game, and 3.5 blocks on 55% shooting. Unfortunately, from 1972 to 1974, they would not win another championship. But let's look at the teams Kareem lost to in this stretch. Starting in 1972, where he lost in the Western Conference Finals against the 1972 Wilt Chamberlain and Jerry West Lakers, who went on to win the 1972 NBA championships and also won a still standing record of 33 straight games in the regular season. Now, y'all don't get it twisted, as Kareem against the Lakers in 1972 averaged 33 and 17 and 4 on 45% shooting. The reason why the Bucks lost this series was because Oscar Robertson got hurt in this series, as he pulled a muscle in his stomach during the series against the Los Angeles Lakers. This is including the closeout game against the Los Angeles Lakers, where Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had 37 points, 25 rebounds, and 8 assists, and he played the full 48-minute game. Meanwhile, Oscar Robertson only played 7 minutes in this game and only had 2 points. Because again, like I said earlier, he was older and his body had the wear and tear, and he was already injured with the pulled muscle in his stomach, guys. Now, the next year in 1973, the Bucks would lose to the Golden State Warriors, who had Rick Barry and Nate Thurmond. The team was also 11th in offensive rating and 6th in defensive rating. Rick Barry averaged 22, 8, and 4 on 45% shooting. He was second team All-NBA and was also an All-Star. Nate Thurmond that year averaged 17 points and 17 rebounds and 3 assists and was an All-Star this year and also finished second team All-Defensive. Now, I'm bringing up all this to you guys is because I wanted to show you guys that these guys that Kareem lost to this year aren't some plumbers. They weren't trash. They actually were hooping back in the day, and they actually had a nice resume at the doggone time. But don't get it twisted. The Milwaukee Bucks in 1973 did have the better record. They had the better team. In my opinion, they had won 60 games, was the first seed in the Western Conference. And on top of that, they had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was deemed the best player in the world at this point in time. As you can see in the 1973 NBA season, he averaged 30 a game. And as you guys can read right here, I mean, his points went down, his assists went down, his percentages went down. Kareem just downright didn't have a good series up to his standards, and he definitely didn't play as good as he was playing in the regular season. Oh, but in 1974, Kareem came back with some vengeance. In the 1974 regular season, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar averaged 27, 14, and 4, led the Bucks to a 59 and 23 record, which was good for the first seed in the Western Conference in 1974. Oh, but let's talk about the playoff. In the first round of the playoffs against the Los Angeles Lakers, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar averaged 29 points, 18 rebounds, and 5 assists a game, 2 steals, 3 blocks on 52% shooting. The next round against the Chicago Bulls, he averaged 34, 19, and 3, and a steal and 2 blocks a game on a ridiculous 66% shooting. And I don't want to hear no complaining about the competition, because the Los Angeles Lakers were the second seed, won 47 games, and they also had Gail Goodrich, who was averaging 25 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists, was first team All-NBA, and was an All-Star. Oh, and that Bulls team that won 54 games, they had Bob Love, who was averaging 21 and 6 and 1 steal and was second team all defensive. Jerry Sloan, who was averaging 13, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and was first team all defensive. They had Chet Walker, who was averaging 19 and 5 and 2, who was also an All-Star. They had Nor Van Leer, who was averaging 14, 6, and 2 and was also an All-Star, All-NBA second team, and was first team all defensive. So again, like I said, I don't want to hear nothing about the competition, because Kareem had competition, but just because you guys didn't hear about these guys' names or don't know who these guys are does not make these guys plumbers or even less of a basketball player. In the 1974 NBA Finals, Kareem and the Bucks would face the Boston Celtics, who had John Havlicek, who was averaging 22, 5, and 6, first team All-NBA, first team All-Defensive. They also had Dave Cowens, who was averaging 19 points, 15 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, and 1.3 blocks a game, who was also an All-Star. And this series, y'all, went down to the wire, as the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks went to 7 games, and a lot of crazy things happened. Like in game 2, where the Milwaukee Bucks went to overtime with the Boston Celtics and they won this game. 105-96 was the final score. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had 36 points, 6 assists, and 15 rebounds. By Game 6, the Boston Celtics had already had a 3-2 lead in this series and only had to win one more game to win the championship. But it wasn't going to be in Game 6. In Game 6, this game went down to the wire, y'all, because this game went to double overtime. Mind you, the Boston Celtics are up 3-2 in the series. They have one more game to win the entire thing. I'm going to just let y'all watch a moment in history. Roll the clip.
Game we've had. Oscar Robertson throws to Kareem. 7 seconds. Minkle, the sky over. Kareem with a big pressure shot. Milwaukee wins it. Milwaukee wins it in double overtime.
Yes, this man Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in a double overtime in a pivotal Game 6 makes the game-winning shot on a skyhook to force Game 7 of the NBA Finals in 1974. And this game is an ultimate classic, y'all. Like, legit, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had a legendary game. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in this game, not only did he make the game winner, but he finished the game with 34 points, 2 blocks, 1 steal, 6 assists, and 8 rebounds. Oh, and did I forget to mention that Kareem played the whole 58-minute game? Oh, and shout out to John Havlicek as well, who also played the full 58-minute game and dropped 36 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists, and shot 48% from the field in a pivotal Game 6. That is nuts, bro. And unfortunately for the Bucks, they lost Game 7, and the Boston Celtics won the championship, and John Havlicek was named the Finals MVP. And a lot of things happened in this offseason for the Milwaukee Bucks that was just terrible. And the reason why I say it was so terrible for the Milwaukee Bucks as a franchise is because they lost Oscar Robertson due to retirement, so he went on ahead and retired. And that next year in 1975, the Bucks would miss the playoffs, only win 38 games, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would miss 17 games because he broke his right hand punching a backboard supporter during an NBA game and was fined $5,000. After that embarrassing season with the Milwaukee Bucks, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was traded to the Los Angeles Lakers to start his Laker tenure. Now in 1976, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would win the MVP, but the Lakers would miss the playoffs in his first year. But the next year, in 1977, Kareem would lead the Los Angeles Lakers to 53 wins, but unfortunately for Kareem, he would end up losing in the Western Conference Finals to the Portland Trail Blazers. A Portland Trail Blazers team that had a prime Bill Walton on the team, who eventually went on to win the championship in 1977 against the Philadelphia 76ers. But don't get it twisted, against the Portland Trail Blazers, Kareem averaged 30 points, 16 rebounds, and 3 blocks. And against the Golden State Warriors in the second round of 1977, he averaged 37, 18, 2 steals, and 3 blocks. For the entire 1977 playoffs, he averaged 34, 17, and 3 blocks a game. So Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was still the best player in the league, even with him losing in 1977. And in 1978 and in 1979, the Los Angeles Lakers would lose to the Seattle Supersonics both years. 1978, we lost to the Seattle Supersonics in the first round, and then in 79, we lost to them in the second round. We wouldn't get our revenge on the Seattle Supersonics until 1980. Yes, the 1980, where Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and the Los Angeles Lakers would win the 1980 NBA championship. But this is where context needs to be your best friend. Because sure, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, yes, did not win the Finals MVP in 1980 and went to Magic Johnson because of Magic Johnson stepping up in Game 6. But I want to give y'all a whole refresh of 1980 real quick. For starters, in 1980, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar led the Los Angeles Lakers to 60 wins, and he won the MVP. On top of that, if you look at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's playoff stats, every round before the NBA Finals, you can tell who was the best player in that same doggone stretch. If you look at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's NBA Finals stats, it will tell you who is really the real Finals MVP. Even when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar got hurt in Game 5 of the 1980 NBA Finals, he came back in that game and literally dropped 14 points in the fourth quarter, and he finished the game with 40 points. The reason why he missed Game 6 of the NBA Finals in 1980 is because he came back in the fourth quarter in Game 5. Oh, and mind you, this 14-point performance that he had in the fourth quarter in Game 5 literally helped us take a 3-2 lead in that finals series. So yes, Magic did his thing in Game 6. No ifs, ands, buts about it. Not taking nothing away from Magic Johnson. But the two reasons why Magic Johnson won that award is because of two things. One, because he actually did step up and have a great performance. And then number two, Kareem unfortunately did get hurt. Because again, if you go look at Kareem's final stats for 1980, it clearly shows you who's the best player in that entire series. Magic Johnson won the Finals MVP award because no one was expecting a rookie to step up and play center and dominate the way that he did in Game 6. But if you just look at the whole totality, it's Kareem's Finals MVP award. And when you look at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's entire Laker resume from 1976 to 1989, 22 points a game, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2.5 blocks a game, shooting 56% from the field, winning 3 MVPs in the Lakers jersey, a 5-time NBA champion in his jersey. The one Finals MVP that he does have with the Los Angeles Lakers holds a lot of weight in 1985 because he was the oldest Finals MVP in league history. He also was a 13-time All-Star in this stretch, went to 10 All-NBA teams, and had 7 All-Defensive teams in this same stretch. So this is why Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, in my eyes, right here, just with his whole body of work just as a Laker alone, would be a top 3 player of all time. And if I added his stuff that he could accomplish from high school and college, he low-key would be the ultimate GOAT. But that's another story for another day. But that's the end of this video, guys. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on social media, turn on the post notification bell, and your boy is out of here.